Brittany Michelle, authors of Epihanies Within. I just finished reading this book. It's super awesome. She's going to be talking us about that with us here today, and she's also going to be talking about a lot of her other recent endeavors. Okay, so I just finished reading your book finally. I really liked it. I liked the format of it. I liked how you brought up like the Bible scriptures. Tell me where this came from. Like, what place were you in when you felt like you had to write this book?
I think it was always in me. Growing up, I always used to write like short stories and like fiction and things like that. And I always knew I was going to write a book one day. I didn't really think I was going to be an author like full time, but I was like, I'm going to write a book, thinking it was going to be like a story, fictional, with characters and everything like that. But I started writing this one when I was at the end of my college career, so I was about maybe 2 months away from graduating. And I started writing it not actually as a book, but just like as notes in my phone, like venting, like a diary. I didn't have like an actual diary. I wrote it down. It was all in my phone, just trying to get things out of my head. I was struggling trying to graduate. I didn't know if I was going to graduate. Going through like a breakup at the same time. Well, I'll talk about that later. But one of those breakups where you're like, we were never even together, but we breaking up somehow. We've all been there. So one of those things, and I just was trying to get things out of my head and just doodling. And then I want to say sometime maybe over the summer after graduating is when I started realizing like I really wanted to write a book and I wanted to do it now. And I just started looking through my phone at everything that I had written and how I would write it when I was going through it, and then I would go back and kind of when I felt like I had answers to whatever I was going through, I would add that. So I was like, okay, this could kind of help somebody. So I just put it together and just took off on its own.
And that's literally how the book was. It was like, just how she just explained it, that's literally how the book was written. It was like, hey, I'm going through this right now, but the Bible says this, and this is how I overcame it. So that's super cool. Like, and I mean, basically you were living life and just kind of writing a book as you live life. Most of us are not able to do that. So I just think that's super cool. What's one of your like favorite chapters? I've just been wanting to ask you because I was reading through the book myself, and there definitely was one that jumped out at me. So I want to ask you first, what was your favorite one?
Gotcha. My favorite chapter is chapter 2. So each chapter I call, instead of saying chapter or whatever, I say Epiphany, whatever number it is. So Epiphany 2 is like my favorite, and it was the one I was the most scared to put in the book. Now when people read it, it doesn't even faze me, but I was like, I wanted to take it out. It's the one on relationships and things like that. So I've always been like a really private person. So people, like my close friends were reading it like, I did not know this was going on. Because I never realized how much I would bottle things in or just kind of have a wall up. So that was my favorite chapter. It was the first chapter that I wrote. And it's kind of what sparked the book because that's what I was writing about the most when I started writing.
So during that time in your life where you were like, oh my gosh, because I feel like as a fellow writer, I'm kind of the same way as I'm writing my first memoir right now. And I'm like, I don't know if I really want to talk about this, but it happened. So what did you draw inspiration from to really like push you to be like, okay, you know what, whatever, I'm going to put it in here. I don't really care about being judged.
Right. I don't know. I think when I first started writing it, and I was like, okay, it was therapeutic for me writing it down, first of all. I had to write it down to get it out of my head because I prefer to write it than to go and talk to somebody about it or feel like I'm constantly going back and talking about the same story over and over. Because you know how we are, people, women, just in general, we don't want to talk about it just one time. We want to okay, so what you like the next day you want to repeat it and your friends kind of like, all right, I thought she was over this.
Right.
So that's why I wrote it out, and I would go back and read it, and like it kind of helped me process what was going on. So like I said, it was about relationships. So I talked about each relationship that I had basically in my life, or from like when I first started dating, which is like the end of high school, to when the book came out, which was the end of college. So sometimes we just go through things and we're mad about so much and we don't even know what we're mad about or what happened until you go back and really think, all right, so what happened with this person and what went wrong? What did I do? And it just really helped me.
Right.
So,
just kind of taking accountability.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
As much as I didn't really want to put it out there, I do if I could come to those epiphanies and like revelations about things, if somebody else could read that, I knew it would help them too. And I think I sent it to somebody and they were like, this just changed my life. And I was like, okay, I have to keep it in.
So that's awesome.
Yeah.
So my cat, you guys probably can't see him, but he just wanted to join the show here. So if you hear some meowing, that is absolutely okay. Because he's a superstar too. So I'm gonna go through here because, like I said, there was at one point when I was reading where I was like, wow, like that just got my life in check. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, even though I already know this, it just definitely got my life in check. So I like that in the beginning that you have all of them and what they're going to be about, because then it's like I can go back and revisit that if I need to remind myself. It was Epiphany 6, and that one was just everything is happening according to God's perfect will and his divine timing. This is something that I always have to remind myself on and that I struggle with every day, because we want stuff to happen at a certain speed. We want it to happen at a certain time in our life. All of us at some point have felt like we had our lives all the way mapped out, but it's not on us to dictate our lives. We're not God. We're only human. We make mistakes. So I was just like, while reading that, it seemed like I read it at the right time. Just because I kind of took my time reading the book, so I would pick it up, put it back down. Everybody's got a busy work schedule. Yep. But then it's like, I just like, oh, you know what? Let me start reading this again. I got a little downtime I read. And then it's like when I started that chapter, I'm like, just God be sending the right word at the right time. So I do want to thank you for that. I think I actually texted you like after I was done. I was like, I just gotta tell you, like, this is awesome. Like, I love it. I love it. So if you definitely need a push, just like her title says, when mediocre living is no longer enough, I'm all about just being the best person that you can be. Obviously, if you follow my blog, Ambitious Mix, definitely pick up this book, Epiphanies Within. It's available for ordering on Amazon. You can get it in print or in an ebook. Other than that, Brittany, what else is going on? I know you got Mission 31.
Yes, I have Mission 31. So Mission 31 is a nonprofit mentoring org based out of Metro Detroit for middle school and high school girls. So we have 6th graders all the way up to seniors in high school. And all of the mentors are college graduates or in college, just pretty much in their 20s, early 30s. The mission of Mission 31 is basically Proverbs 31 and trying to build Proverbs 31 women as we're also growing into Proverbs 31 women. So just teaching them how to be virtuous young ladies, how to be respectable young ladies, how to value themselves. We talk about community service, we talk about self-worth, self-value, and then taking all of that and like going out and using it and being empowered. So yeah, we've been in existence for 2 years now. Or actually, this will be our 3rd year, 2016.
Okay,
cool.
Year, so do you guys have any like upcoming events or anything that you're doing or projects?
We are looking to collab with another organization, so that'll probably be out on social media and get pub soon. But we meet bi-weekly on Saturdays from like usually around 11 to about 2. So we're at _Mission 31 on Instagram and Twitter and everything. You'll be able to see specific details and dates, or you can email us at mission31inc@gmail.com.
So I know I definitely want to get involved with some other organizations this year, more hands-on, so maybe we will be able to work, you know, in the near future.
Yes.
I'm just compiling my list of different organizations that I want to work with. Other than that, is there anything else that you want us to know? Anything? I know you're in the process of writing your other book. Are you kind of just keeping that under wraps for right now?
Yeah, I'm keeping that low, but I am working on some more things to go with this book. So I'll tell you first, I'm working on a journal that I want to come out, because I talked a lot about, especially in chapter 1, journaling, and just how that's what I was doing.
Like a simulation journal?
Yeah.
I love those.
That, and actually a workbook too. So I want people to have like a blank notebook where they can just free write, and then a journal that kind of goes through every epiphany with me, so you can kind of come to your own epiphany. So that's what I'm working on now. Hopefully I'll finish those soon, and they'll be out on my website and everything. But that's the next step.
Awesome. So I do want to thank you for coming on the couch with me today and hanging out. Other than that, we are all done with this interview.
Thank you.